Hey, this is Lux, and I'll be talking about the Tempo Rune deck. It's a runecraft deck, and this is the iteration that I've been using. There's several different ways to tech this particular deck, but after experimenting a bit, I found that this was pretty solid. The whole deck is structured around Daria, the Dimension Witch. You can read about her right here. Basically, she banishes your hand and spell boost those cards that you draw and lets you draw 5 new cards, and she spell boosts them 5 times. She can also get spell boosted herself, which reduces the cost of her cards, so you can get her down to 0 mana. So what is a Tempo Runecraft deck? So basically, it's a deck that uses spells to maintain board control, and it spell boosts by using spells. You spell boost your followers and create favorable tempo swings. Tempo is a term that comes from music, which basically refers to the speed of the music. In card games, it basically means that you are constantly looking for the play that gives you the most momentum. So there's no specific combo that you're looking for, but you want to build momentum at a rate that the opponent basically can't handle, and you want to constantly throw this tempo at them. You want to force them to try to keep up with you, and you're basically building the deck to out-tempo them. So how do you achieve tempo? So basically, you're going to use spells to board clear, and those spells are going to spell boost the other cards in your hands, particularly the followers, and it lets you play more followers than you normally could otherwise. And it's going to be hard for opponents to keep up with the tempo. So basically, at the heart of all this is Daria, the Dimensional Witch. We talked about her a little bit, so I'll just go through the cards in the deck, talk about some tech choices, and then go through some gameplay and comment on my thought process. And so this is sort of a basic tutorial on how to get into the this type of deck. It's ridiculously fun. I don't know if it's the best deck out there, but I've been having a blast on it, and it's been doing really well in the AA ranks at least. So we'll start at the bottom. You have Angelic Snipe. It's a 1 mana ping. It'll spell boost all your cards because it is a spell. It does 1 damage. Can go face. Insight lets you draw a card. Nothing special. Just a good spell booster. We have Time Worn Mage Levi. He's a really good 2/2. You can just drop him as a 2-drop. Evolve him for Crimson Sorcery. That's a 1 mana spell. Does 3 damage to anything, face or minion. Then we've got Craig, Wizard of Mysteria. Craig is great. He spell boosts a follower twice. So not any card, just a follower. Great for a lot of different combos in the deck. Magic Missile, 1 damage ping. For 2 mana, it's not bad. You draw a card. Conjure Golem, it's pretty straightforward. You summon a 2/2 potato. We have Wind Blast. Every time this card gets spell boosted, you do 1 more damage to an enemy when you use it. It's good for board clear. It's not the greatest card, that's why I only tech 2 into it. And we have Witchette Emilu. 3 mana 2/2. Every time she's boosted, she goes down 1. So you can play her for 0, 1, 2, or 3 mana. It's a decent card. We've got Clark. He spell boosts all the followers in your hand twice. So he'll be spell boosting cards like Emilu, Oglar, and Daria. We'll get to them later. We've got Piercing Rune. This is an interesting card. So when you evolve a monster, and this is in your hand, it turns into a 1 mana card. And it does 2 to a monster and 2 to face. Or you could just play it as a 4 mana, 2 to a follower and 2 to face. This might be a card you tech out, but so far it's been working pretty decently. Then we have the monster, Ogler. Everyone hates him because every time you use a card or a spell, he gets spell boosted, and it lowers the cost of his card from 5 to lower. by 1 per boost. And if you play Daria and you get Ogler, you can play him for 0. So it can be pretty frustrating to play a 3/4 for 0 mana. It's a huge tempo swing. Fate's Hand. So every time you spell boost this card, it lowers the cost by 1. You draw 2 cards. It's an okay card. I've been thinking about dropping 1, but so far it's been working fine. We've got Blade Mage. I'm not a huge fan of him, but he's okay. Every time he gets spell boosted, he goes down by 1 his cost. He's a 2/2 with Storm. And he can go face, he can go trade. He's a solid card. And finally, Daria the Dimension Witch. Banish all cards in your hand. When this card is spell boosted, it goes down by 1. We already talked about it. So let's get into the gameplay. So this isn't too long of a video, and I can upload it at a reasonable amount of time. Replays. We'll just go through the replays I've done, because I can go through them much quicker. So all of these top 5 were with Runecraft. This is with the deck I've been using. I was trying an Eidolon deck earlier. Wasn't doing so hot with the Havencraft. It's okay though. I was having more fun with Tempo Rune anyway. So we'll go through the replays and talk about the thought process from mulligans to... Oh, I didn't mention tech choices real quick. Let's go to tech. Cards. So, Runeblade Summoner was definitely in my first version of this deck. Every time this card gets spell boosted, it gets plus 1. So it's a 3/3 that gets... I'm sorry, it's a 1/1 that gets plus 1 every time you spell boost it. This card can be ridiculous. I've had it up to like plus 24 at one point. It was just absolutely insane. The problem with Runeblade Summoner that I've seen is that it's 4 mana and it's kind of clunky to play. Like, it's amazing when you can get it rolling, but it's so situational that it like slows down your hand to the point that you're not really a tempo deck as much as like a combo or control type deck. But it's something to play with. Maybe throw in 1, 2. I ran 3 for the longest time. By the longest, I mean like a day. And I had a blast with it. But after trying this iteration, I think Runeblade's a little too clunky. You could also tech in a Fire Chain, maybe drop one of the Wind Blasts, because a lot of people are running decks with like spamming minions with 1 health, and Fire Chain will definitely help with that. It's a little clunky, but it can do the job. Let's see. We've got Kaleidoscope, Glow, return it's a 2 mana, return a 2 cost card to someone's hand. So helps you maintain board control, lets you draw into a card, it spell boosts your hand. It's not bad. You could definitely take this in. And then let's see, you could do Flame Destroyer. I've seen some people doing it, but you know, this is the staple of D shift, but to me it's a little clunky. Even if you Daria into it, it's still 5 mana 7/7, which is good, but it's slow. And if you draw it in the beginning, you don't have much else to play. It's just a dead card. If you really want more low cost trailing light. Trail of Light. Okay. If you really want more low-cost draws, if you feel like you're getting dead draws a lot, this is possibly an option. Trail of Light. And let's see. Dance of Death is also a decent option for maintaining board control. It's a little bit slow tempo-wise, but it's not a bad option. Alright, so let's get to the gameplay. Replays. I love the replay function, by the way. I wish you could see the other people's hands, but you can't. So this is the most recent version of the Runecraft deck. Well, I'll be pausing the game frequently to talk about what's happening in the thought process. So I'm going second here. Not a big deal if I go second or first. It kind of is against blood. So let's see. So this normally looks like a great mulligan. You're like, oh yeah, great. Insight, you draw a card. Insight, you draw a card. Ogler gets down to 3. You can play him on turn 3, and you probably draw a turn 2. Well, yeah, you probably draw a turn 2. Yeah, it looks good on paper, but this deck is so powerful with Daria. Like, you hard mulligan for her every time. You don't have Daria, you mulligan for her. Drop everything. Doesn't matter what you get. That's been my theory. You could try it a different way, but now he only mulliganed 1 card, so he's probably got a really great hand. I, on the other hand, got a pretty crappy hand. Immediately we know he's going to be the bat aggro. I'll pause it. Bat aggro blood, they rush you down. I've seen people die by turn 4. So he's going to be hyper aggressive. This is a pretty terrible hand to fight something so hyper aggressive. But I think there are ways to creatively use spells to still maintain tempo, even if you're behind like this. Like, this is really bad that he's already got a turn 1 play with his deck. I obviously can't play anything, so I pass. So Urias, every time I summon a follower, it's going to do damage. So what did I do there? I just, so in turn 2, what I did was I used my magic missiles. So it does 1 damage, lets me draw a card. So I drew into Daria, which is great. But then I drew another Daria, which is horrible, but it's fine. I'm magic missiling now because I want to Wind Blast next turn to kill this. And that's going to allow me to Emilu. Because if I Wind Blast on turn 3, it's going to cost 2 mana. Emilu goes down to 1 because she gets spell boosted down. She got. If I didn't magic missile this turn, I wouldn't be able to Emilu next turn with Wind Blast. And that's going to clear that. And it seems like I'm wasting magic missiles and Wind Blast to just kill a 1/3, but his effect is annoying enough, and this deck that he's playing is threatening enough that I need tempo immediately, and I don't have tempo, not with these cards. So I have to like make sacrifices and waste cards to kill a 1/3. Now, if I top deck something, I might change my plan, but no. Yeah, that doesn't change it. So I Wind Blast to kill Urias, summon Emilu. Can't do anything, pass. Alright, so he's getting good draws. He's got so much aggression now. Okay, so turn 4, I have top deck Insight. So, I mean, I could play Blade Mage or Ogler. I think I choose to Insight. Yeah, you Insight first. It's gonna reduce those, period. So you have to Insight, and then you card draw. So we Insight. It boosts our hand. We can't play anything, so we play Ogler. We can't play Fate's Hand, so we play Ogler. I had the choice of playing Blade Mage, but he's just way too slow for this. Ogler is a big body. He's a 3/4. I'm going to evolve him for tempo. I need tempo, so I need to clear this board. Otherwise, it's going to get out of control. And Blade Mage wouldn't have given it to me. I would have just traded Blade Mage. Now I'm giving him a threat that he has to answer. And I'm sorry, I also, by evolving Ogler, it lets me play Piercing Rune as a 4 mana, but now it's a 1 mana. And it does 2 damage, and so that's how I could clear the wolf. And now I'm just going to trade with Ogler and go phase. Plus it spell boosts Blade Mage. So he Dances of Death, which on paper it's a good play, but it's a huge tempo loss for him, and he doesn't realize it yet. Um, so turn 5. I just top decked Conjure Golem. So I could Daria the Dimensional Witch, but I've got board control, and I've still got 2 evolves. And Daria is a little risky because if I Daria into a dead hand, I won't be able to play anything meaningful. So I figure I'm just going to Conjure Golem here. Conjure Golem lets me, I think it lowers the cost. It'll lower the cost of Fate's Hand. I can play Fate's Hand, and it's going to let me play Blade Mage at 0. And now I've got a sizable board, and I can Daria on, I can Daria at turn 6 and have 3 mana left over. But then I'm also threatening lethal. I've got 2, 4, 6 damage on board. If I evolve, that's 8. Okay, so he clears that. So even though I could Daria, obviously I go for lethal. 2, 4. Blade Mage is 6. Evolve 8. And so even though I had a backup Daria to help me in a crappy situation, like I could, even if I didn't have Blade Mage, I could play Daria, evolve her, trade with everything else on board, but I didn't need to. All right, let's get to game 2. All right, this game is against an AA discard dragon. So for my mulligan, I've got Insight, Witchette, and Witch. Great cards for a mulligan, because I want Witch Daria no matter what. Insight's going to let me play Amelia on turn 2, which is great tempo. So I Insight now, draw a card. Now I have a turn 2 play, which is Amelia. And if I'm going too fast, you can always pause, rewatch it. I just want to get as many games in, so it's a much better demonstration. Now here, so even though I could play Witchette, I have Insight now. So if I play Insight on turn 2, Witchette is now 1, and Daria goes down to 7. And that's a better play. I hope I make that play. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Golem is okay too. I think Insight was a better play. Yeah, Insight was a better play because it would have given me another chance at another card to possibly spell boost. But I don't know. Golem was fine too. We'll see. Alright, so here I top deck Clark. It's a 3 mana, boost everyone down by 2. This boosts Blade Mage down, Witchette down, and Daria down. And so it also lets me play Emmy on 3. So this is what I'm talking about tempo. Like, he's playing his cards, and it's just too slow. He can't keep up with my pace. And so now, because I'm out-tempoing him, I forget what I played there. I played Insight to draw a card. Now, since I'm out-tempoing him, I can just go face. I don't have to trade at all. Like, if I trade now, he's just going to have more time to set up his combo. He's got a deck full of cards, or a handful of cards that he can play. So I top-decked Craig, or I insighted into Craig. Now, I could Craig Daria to create a 2 mana Daria to play her on turn 5, and then have 3 mana to play the boosted cards, or I could do Blade Mage. And I opt for Blade Mage because it's going to give me a huge tempo on board, a huge board presence, and I can go face for a ton, and I'm going to evolve and go face and give him so much more to clear. He's got to clear my board. Now it's really susceptible to like board clear, Salamander's Breath, and all of that, but like I go for the tempo play because I think worst case scenario, turn 5, I play a 3 mana Daria. The reason I don't evolve Clark, because he's got better stats than everyone here, is because I want to make it more annoying to kill. Like it's harder to kill a 4/4 and a 2/3 as opposed to a 4/6. I mean a 4/5. Because maybe he has Dance of Death. And then I put all my eggs in one basket. So he Dance of Death, trades into this, and then and then yeah, it's just I have better choices if I spread the evolution. Spread the stats. Alright, so let's see. 2, 4, 6. I've got lethal on board, so there's nothing to talk about. I play Daria for fun. There's no reason to play her. I don't know what Daria is doing hanging out over there. That dimensional witch. So silly. I had lethal on board. 2, 4, 6, evolve 8. Alright. Next game. These are all AA players or higher. AA 0 or higher. Team 3. This is another dragon craft. Let's see what I mulligan. I guess it's an A2 player. Alright. Snipe, Daria missiles. Yeah, that's solid. Almost anything with Daria is good. Things I would get rid of is like Sage or Mage Blade, whatever he's called. Okay, so let's see. Why did I snipe here? Because sometimes you want to save snipe. So normally I wouldn't snipe, but I have both Daria and Oglar in hand, and I'm setting up to play Oglar on turn 3. So if I snipe now, he's going to be 4 mana. If I magic missiles on turn 2, he's going to be 3 mana. On turn 3, I can play him if I don't get anything else that I want to play, like Craig or Clark. And then all of this is also boosting Daria, so that's why I'm like going face with Snipe. So sticking to the plan, I magic missile face, draw a card. Blade Mage and Fate's Hand are not changing this plan yet. I might draw something that changes my plan on turn 3 though. Yeah, so I draw Craig. I play Craig for tempo. Craig lets me boost him down 2, so I can still play him on turn 3. And I chose not to go for Daria because I want immediate tempo. I don't want later tempo. Sometimes it's good to boost Daria, but I figure it's a little risky because I don't have anything I can play in turn 4. But I figure I'd rather get tempo now than miss out on being able to play Oglar and Craig at the same turn. Alright, let's see. I get magic missiles. I mean, I could magic missile Unica, but I'm going to go magic missile face, see what I draw, boost my cards one more time. Insight, obviously Insight lets me draw a card. Another Insight, get to boost again. I don't really get to play anything, so I go for the board clear. I mean, if I leave Unica alive, he heals for 2, I do 3. So it's like dealing 1 damage. And so I'd rather go for the tempo play and clears board. In case he summons something, evolves, clears mine. He's got more Evo points than me, so I need to take favorable trades whenever I can. Let's see. Yeah, see there. He would have trashed my board and had Unica if I didn't do something. Alright, so what do I get? Turn 5. So instead of playing, I could play Daria, but it's a little risky because I don't know what I'm going to get. And I only have 1 mana to work with. I mean, I could evolve Daria, but then I'm an Evo point behind. I like to try and stay ahead with tempo. Um, or else I could take a minor tempo hit by not playing Daria and just play like Conjure Golem, and it's gonna lower the cost of Emmy and Blade Mage and Fate's Hand, so I can do like Conjure Golem, Fate's Hand, and draw 2 more cards. Yeah, and so I play Blade Mage, evolve him to lower the cost of Piercing Rune, which is gonna like lower the cost of Emmy to 0. And like, look, Daria's like 2 right now. Yeah, so if I Piercing Rune, I could clear this. I may not even clear it. I think I'm just gonna go face. I can use it on this. It's gonna do 2 to this, 2 to the face. Daria's gonna cost 1, which at 0. And then I can even play Daria. I don't know if I do play Daria. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I guess I want the five on board for this turn. Like, it's definitely perfectly fine not to play Daria there. But now I've got a free Ogler, free Witchet. It's important to note that even though I can play Fade's Hand, do not play Fade's Hand. It's a 0-mana Fate's Hand from Daria. Never play it like unless you have mana to use. There's no point in using it. I'll just draw 2 more cards. Because if I wait till next turn to use my 0-mana Fate's Hand, everything in my hand still gets boosted, but the card I top deck potentially gets boosted. And if I use it now, it definitely does not get boosted. So I play Ogler for tempo, and I go face, because he's got like a huge board to deal with. I think I get punished a little, yeah. He Salamander breaths me. I should have expected it on turn 6. Like, I just play into it a lot. Okay, let's see. Turn 6. Yeah, insight to boost. Actually, I should have Fate's Handed first, right? Yeah, because it would have done 2 cards. It would have boosted 2 cards. That was a misplay. Then I Craig, use it on Daria. Now I've got a 0-mana Daria, 0-mana Witchet. He's just in like a load of trouble. I've got 4, 7 on board. If I evolve him, I've got 10 damage. But I'm not going to. Oh, I do play him. Yeah, because then okay, so I play Levi because it's gonna give me a turn 7 where I can just play Daria, and then I have 7 mana to do anything I want. Oh, okay. So I choose a player. I probably shouldn't have played her there. Like, there's no reason to play her. Again, no point of playing Fate's Hand, period. Yeah, I definitely shouldn't have played Daria there. That was a really bad misplay. It's fine, though. I'm going to evolve Levi for the Crimson. 5 plus 3 is 8. But yeah, there was no reason for me to flood the board with Daria unnecessarily. I couldn't have played anything in my hand anyway. So it was a huge misplay, but it was fine. I continually had momentum. It's the nature of the deck. So, all right. So this is against Swordcraft. We'll get to the next match. I'm trying to go by quickly, but I'm also trying to explain the thought process behind all of these plays. All right. So no Daria, mulligan everything. Get rid of all of it. It's a pretty terrible hand to be working with. Let's see. So I've got Snipe. Okay, so it's not as bad as it could be. Do you snipe face here? I don't think you do. If I snipe face, yeah, don't snipe face, especially since I'm going first and Sword usually has like a 1/1 that they rush with. I could just snipe the 1/1 if I need to. Because he's going to go next and maybe he's got a 1/1. Plus, it doesn't help Ogler. Right now, the plan is to Crag Ogler on turn 2 so that Ogler is playable on 3. If If I snipe now, then Craig Ogler next turn. Ogler's gonna cost 2, and then he's just like clunky. Because why do I want to play like a 2 mana on turn 3? Like I want to be mana efficient, but still be card efficient. So why waste snipe if I don't need to? It's not going to be like super beneficial that I snipe right now. Maybe it'll be useful later. So yeah, sticking to the plan, I'm Craiging Ogler, so he's playable on turn 3. Alright, yeah, there. So now we have, well, now we have Insight. So we're going to Insight, because it's going to reduce Ogler, period, and draw a card that we may spell boost. Then I can snipe that to board clear, the maid to board clear. And that's going to reduce Ogler even more, so he's going to be 1 mana. So I can play Insight, Snipe, Ogler. Yeah, great. And see, you always Insight first, because now Amelia benefits from this Snipe spell boost. Now I can Ogler. Now I have huge tempo swing. Crazy tempo swing. Because now I have a 2/2, a 3/4 board control, 2 mana Amelia, a 3 mana Ogler, and a Piercing Rune. So on turn 4, I could Piercing Rune whatever he sends out if I need to. I don't even have to evolve to get the benefit. Do I want to Piercing Rune that? I'm not sure. Let's see what I top deck. So turn 4. It's kind of a clunky turn because like I could Piercing Rune this, but then that's going to be Ogler will be 2, Amelia will be 1, so it'll be 3. It's not really a good turn 5 because I want to be mana efficient. So I opt for the Ogler. I'm going for like pure tempo here. Now I didn't kill the 1/1 because there's no reason to. Like I'm putting so much pressure to his face, and he's got 3 monsters to deal with, 3 followers to deal with. So I'm seeing what he does here. Okay, and actually it was kind of a misplay. Now that I think about it, I should have Piercing Runed. Because I should have expected, since he's like a control mid-rangey type swordcraft, that I should have expected Amelia. And Amelia benefits when there's 3 enemy followers, because now he has a 0 mana Jelt, which is a 3/2 with taunt. So I got punished there. Yeah, I should have I think I should have Piercing Rune the maid. But it's fine, because now I can Piercing Rune Jelt. So let's see. And I can evolve. I think I'm going to evolve to go face, but Piercing Rune to spell boost all this stuff. And then like summon a Conjure Golem, Amelia, maybe even get Fate's Hand going. Yeah, I evolve Craig because he can go face, and I'm putting so much face pressure that he has to find an answer immediately. And note, like, yeah, and he does find an answer. He's got Cyclone Blade, which completely wrecks me there. And note, all of this pressure was done without Daria in hand. Like, not having Daria is horrible, but the deck is structured in a way that it has so much tempo that you can still be super aggressive with it. Super clunky. So okay, so I realized that he's at 4 health. I'm like, I can do 4 damage. So I just start going face with these spells. Because like I still have an evo points, like all I need is like a Levi now. And I've got 2 more damage in hand. I've got Snipe and Missile. All I need is 1 more damage to get to face. It's gonna be a little hard because he's like control sword. But there's so many answers in my deck. I have Levi. I've got Piercing Runes. I think we have 3 of those. I still have another Snipe in my deck. I still have another Magic Missiles. Wind Blast won't help me. There, Levi, evolve him, have plenty of mana. Crimson Sorcery to face. So I basically just used all my cards to cycle at that point. Either looking for a Daria or looking for a Levi. Just any of my lethal. Like, even Daria could have been fine, even though she would be slow. I built up so much momentum getting to that point that it would have been fine. Great, Daria's good, Insight good. Fate's Hand, it's too fat. Get rid of it. Too fat isn't like too slow. Great, so now I'm gonna Insight for turn 1. It's gonna lower Emmy, so I can play Emmy turn 2, and obviously Daria gets boosted as well. So now I top decked Snipe. There's no reason for me to Snipe face. He may have like a 1-1 later, or I might need a convenient trade. It's better to Insight. Plus, it gives me one more card that could get boosted. So I Insighted, got Craig. So Craig will change my plans a little bit, because why would I drop a Witchette on turn 2 when I could do Craig and Witchette? So I'm leaning towards... So I was leaning towards Craig, Witchette, but I chose the Insight to boost more cards. And I get a second Daria, which is pretty horrible. But, let's see, I think I just Witchette here and stick to my original plan. I think I should have Craig and Witchette. I think I should have Craig and Emmy. I think it was a misplay for the higher tempo. Or Craig into Daria. And so now I'm like super far behind. But I do have magic missiles and Snipe, so that'll help me get board control and boost the hell out of these cards. I'll use magic missiles before Snipe because it could be a decent card that you're spell boosting. Okay, and I opt to kill the 1-2 because trading with the 1-2 is definitely a tempo play, because now I can trade the 2-2 into both the 1-2 and the 2-2, not just the 2-2, but it puts me behind health-wise. But with this hand, I'm starting to get more confident that I can survive against his current board. So he wasn't able to use 2 mana there, so he's like behind tempo-wise, and I'm finding creative ways to use my hand. And so I'm gonna end up wind blasting this and clearing this because I want board control, but I don't want to waste Evo if I don't have to. But I also want to clear with spells. Okay, actually, no, I don't trade. I evolve, and then I go face because now he has to answer this board, and he does find an answer, sort of. But now note I have basically a 1 mana Daria. And so the reason I ping here, so I ping it for 1 damage because I want to trade Amelia into it, but I don't have an answer in my hand right now. But I think if I Daria, I'm going to get magic missiles or Snipe. I mean, I'm getting 5 new cards, so I'll probably get one of those. Or Wind Blast. Granted, I've used one of my 2 Wind Blasts. Also, Daria's 1 mana right now. Conjure Golem is 2. If I Daria right now, I don't get to Conjure Golem. If I Conjure Golem now, Daria is 0. So basically, Conjure Golem is 1, because it's only costing me 1 more mana to play Conjure Golem and Daria instead of just Daria. So for tempo, I play the 1 mana 2/2, which is pretty good. Now I've got 2 mana to work with, so even if I get magic missiles, it'll still stick with my plan. But lo and behold, I get Angelic Snipe. So this is an interesting turn. Obviously, I'm going to magic missiles because it's going to give me enough to kill it with Emilu. I could evolve Daria, but I kind of want to like save my Evo points if I can help it. But I can efficiently trade into Emilu and use up all my mana and draw a card. And always remember, even though I have Daria in hand, don't Fate's Hand when it's 0 mana and you don't have the mana to use it, like to use anything that you get from it. Because if I use Fate's Hand now and then I top deck something that can be spell boosted, I waste a spell boost. So I play the free Ogler, I magic missiles, and turn. Right, let's see. So now this is where you want to Fate's Hand where you do anything, because even though Clark isn't spell boosted, I want to see if I get other cards that could be spell boosted. Yeah, see, Oglar can be spell boosted, so I Angelic Snipe this. Let's see, I'm probably gonna Magic Missiles this. Yeah, he's just really far behind now because he doesn't have board control, and I've got a 0 mana. I have 0 mana Daria here. Now, I think I end up playing Daria here. I don't think that's the right answer. I think with this hand, you just, yeah, I'm Evo way ahead in Evo points, so I should evolve the potato. I should evolve the potato and just go phase. I shouldn't play Daria, but I might. Good, I don't play Daria. So why don't I play Daria? It's 0 mana. I could play it now, but I also could play it on turn 7. I have board control. He didn't have anything on the board, and I can't play anything except maybe another Ogler or Emmy if I draw into them, if I play Daria. But then I'm susceptible to like huge AoE clears. Like, you guys saw me get wrecked by like Cyclone Blade in the previous game, or it gives him a much bigger Aurelia Saber. So all I miss out on is a 5/5 and maybe an Ogler, but I plan on using her next turn on turn 7 for 0 mana, and then I have 7 mana to work with 5 new spell boosted cards if I need to, or I could just play out this hand. So saving her now gives me a ton of potential later, especially when I already have board control. So he just like drops everything, but like, let's see, yeah, because he couldn't clear, he already used all his evos. I definitely have lethal. I mean, Levi gives me lethal. I clear with this. Crimson is 3, 4, 5, 8, 12. I think I played Daria just for fun. Like, I already know he's done for. Like, it's over. Get a decent hand. And GG. So, I mean, final words on this deck. It's absolutely ridiculously fun. Tempo is such a fun playstyle, I think. And there's so many creative ways to win and play. Like, it can be a Smork deck, and it can be a board control deck, and there's different techs and variations and iterations of this deck that it never gets dull. Takes a little bit getting used to, understanding how like tempo works versus like control or mid range or combo, because I'm used to like Seraph control or Elena Seraph hybrid control. And this is kind of different and kind of similar in different ways. But if you have any questions, feel free to post comments or message me, or ask others for help. Thanks and good luck, guys.